Today we're going to be going over 4 individual clusters, all the details, where would look great on the body, and at the end of the video we'll be giving away one of these pieces of jewelry, so stay tuned to find out how you can be one of the winners. Hey, I'm Scott. Today's Jewelry Spotlight is brought to you by Invictus Body Jewelry, quality without compromise. The 4 cluster tops we're looking at today are available in threaded and threadless. These ones are all threadless. The first cluster we're going to be looking at today is one of my personal favorites. This one looks like it has 2 Trinity clusters surrounding a 3.5mm gem right in the middle. So it's kind of separated, it's nice symmetrical and even, and you guys know how I like the symmetrical and even stuff. And when we're looking at this, it's actually got 1.5mm gems in those little Trinities, so when you hit the light on there, it's going to have that much more sparkle because it's hidden from so many angles. Now, in total, you're looking at 7 gems, 6 of them that are 1.5 mm, and then the one 3.5 in the middle. I also need to mention that this does come in black CZs as well, featured right up here. This cluster is a little shorter than some of the other clusters which would normally fit inside a conch or a helix. That's kind of the traditional place you would put something like this, and it would fit really, really well. Another area this could work would be at the top of a flat. It would also work well in an earlobe. Now with clusters like this, in like an earlobe, they can spin a little bit. This one is still round enough where it would still look good in multiple positions. Some of the longer ones that are more in a line, when they turn sideways, they're very obviously sideways. Another option, as with any cluster, is once you anodize this, it can really bring out those colors. If you anodize this to a darker color, it's gonna make those gems seem more white and more bright. Or if you want something bright or fun, you could always go with that green, pink, or purple. And the overall size is 11mm long by 5mm tall. Moving on to the next cluster, you know, when I look at these, I always try to feel like what it looks like, and these kind of remind me of chandeliers. Like this one, especially how it starts with a 1 bead on top, then the 3.5mm gem, then it looks like roughly 2mm gems just underneath that, and then all the micro beads. It's just like it flows. Sometimes you're gonna find micro details different from piece to piece, whether there's that little tiny micro titanium bead in each corner, or 3 on top or 1 on top, but this one has the 3 in the bottom and that 1 micro bead on top. These are all Swarovski crystals, and of course it's implant grade titanium. Now as far as wearing this goes, something like this to me always screams flat piercing. Right in the middle of the ear up here. When you hold it up to the middle of the ear, people are going to see it from all angles. The shadows aren't going to really obstruct any of the light to get those gems to really sparkle, and it hangs and flows there. Now if you have a large enough conch, that would fit really, really nicely in there. And if your Medusa was pierced high enough, something like this is symmetrical enough where it would fit really, really well in the Medusa. Now, the pin does come out of the larger gem, so there is more metal on the bottom, so gravity will generally keep this sitting upright. But of course, it can spin and turn a little bit. The last place I want to talk about putting this would be on a threadless navel bar. Sometimes you just have that single gem on top and you have a pretty CZ navel ring and you want to fancy it up a little bit. This is it. This is the answer. So moving on to the next one. This is kind of a fun one. Like I was just saying on the last one, how those little micro beads, whether they're clusters of 3, little ones, they're in like little corners, it completely changes the look. Now when you look, if you went back in my video and you looked at the other one, you're gonna see how they almost look the same. Now this one is gonna have another 3.5mm gem in the middle, and then it's gonna have 2 different sizes below it. It's gonna have the 2mm gem, maybe that's the 2.5mm, and then it also has the 1.5mm gems on the sides. Now the big difference between this one and the last one is this one's gonna have a triple micro bead on the top, and then all those little nooks and crannies have those little extra micro beads in there. You gotta look kind of closely. Those micro beads can add a little finesse to your jewelry. Now, as far as the placement goes, it's just like the other one. It's almost the same shape, so this works perfectly in the flat, the belly button. This could be used in a conch if it's big enough. And of course, if you think of any creative ideas what else you could do this, let me know in the comments below. Another little feature we need to point out is with all these micro beads, every time you anodize, those are being anodized with it because they are titanium, so it can really bring out or accentuate that piece of jewelry quite a bit. And the last one we're looking at today is kind of like a little off branch of the original cluster. Now, when I say the original cluster, I'm going to talk about that in another video, but the original cluster had the 5 gems just with the curve that worked amazing in conches and helixes. This is kind of taking the same thing, but taking the gem off the end and adding a little trinity of those microbeads. Finesse. This is awesome. Now, when you anodize this, it's going to pull all that color out there. And when you have something like this black one, and by the way, this does come in clear as well. So like I said, it's the traditional cluster shape. These work amazing in conches. They work in helixes, as long as you have that ridge to kind of hold it steady. Now, something like this in a flat or an earlobe is going to spin, and when it hits different angles, they kind of look weird. So these you want to have anchored, try to stay in that same position so it doesn't spin or rotate. And now, the part you've all been waiting for. Which piece of jewelry am I giving away? It's gonna be this one here. I said it's my personal favorite. How could I not give that one away? Now, this piece will come with a flat back as well as the top. So if you're the winner, you get to choose whether it's going to be an 18 gauge, a 16 gauge, and the length that you would actually need. And if you wanted it anodized, I'll even do that for you. So you're probably asking yourself now, how do I win? It's really easy. Just leave me a comment. You can tell me where you would wear it, why you watch my videos, your favorite part of my videos, what you might want to see. There are all ways to enter. Just leave the comment. Once there's a comment down there and we're ready to pick our winner, we're going to have a computer randomly pick that winner. And how do you find out if you win? Keep watching Piercing with Scott videos. Make sure to give me a like, subscribe, keep putting holes in your body, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Maybe you'll be that winner.